Hi, friends. Welcome back to today's episode of the Life with Loverly podcast. Hi.
Hi.
I'm really excited for this episode.
Me too.
We're going to talk about skincare today.
I know the people wanted to know our skincare routine because we've talked a lot about skin with Kaylin coming on, which is our skin guru. We love her.
Yes.
So I think people will just wanted to know, like, just get down to the point. What are y'all using?
Right. Well, I will say there is a full blog post on loverlygray.com with like a detailed skincare, everything that I use, details about all of the products. So we will link that here in the show notes too, so you can reference back to it. Because I feel like I know everything that I use, obviously, but if I tell you the name of it, it's not going to make sense. So that's like a great place to go read about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to kind of go through a lot of things today, like our skincare, products that we love, injectables that we do, treatments, other products that like aren't skincare that we like, that we feel like help our skin.
Yes. And then even like preventatives that I think we've learned over the years. I know as I am getting older, I'm learning so much more and trying to be so much more aware of like what I am doing for my face. So
I also feel like it is so important to invest in your skin.
It is.
Like, and stop going to tanning beds. If anybody out there still goes to a tanning bed, like, stop.
If I could just go back to my 18-year-old self and explain to her the reasons why you do not need to go to the tanning bed, I would do it.
I know. And just like, even if you make one change, it's like sunscreen.
Yes.
All over your body.
Yes. It's funny when you break it down and you ask dermatologists what, or even like skincare professionals, like what you absolutely need for your skin. It comes back to moisturizers and SPF.
Yeah.
Really wash and SPF. That's what they really get down to. So it's so fun to hear that kind of stuff. But again, yes, like Kaylin, I know, introduced me to a whole new world of like how to take care of your skin the right way. And it's not one way serves all.
Yeah. So our skincare professional that we have seen for the last 3 years or 2.5 years, her name is Kaylin Ashford, and she is a PA here in Athens, and she owns Ashford Aesthetics, and she handles all of our skincare, like from injectables to treatments to like daily skin care.
Yes.
She does it all. And she's super passionate about it. She has a background in dermatology, and it's just like very knowledgeable on skin and how it works. She's had some amazing training in the past. We've done 2 episodes actually with her from previous seasons on the podcast. So if you want to go back and just kind of listen to who she is, there's a lot of information there as well. So we'll leave those in the show notes too. But she's awesome. And you can tell she's so passionate.
You go in there and you learn so much about your skin, how it's changed. She shows the progress and like what it actually means, like in medical terms. But she's just so knowledgeable. And I love that. Like, I'm just like, every time.
So true. I feel like once I went in for my first like skin consultation to really get my like skincare in the right place, I took all of the products I was currently using, and she and I went through every single one, and she was like, why do you use this? Okay, let me look at the ingredients of this. Okay, you can keep using that one. Okay, and we went through and like she did like a whole analysis of my skin. We came up with a regimen that would work like for my specific needs, but I just thought it was so great how invested she was in like learning about what I knew about skin, and then was like, okay, let's add to it or take this away. When you use this and this together, it's actually causing your skin to be more oily, and we want to get away from that. So I just like thought that I really appreciated how she sat down and did that. She also, if you're not local, she offers virtual consults where she can do the same thing with you and then like give you the like a regimen if you're wanting that from her.
Yeah.
But so that's a great offering that you don't have to be local to go see her. I always had like super oily skin acne prone skin. I feel like growing up, I always had a bump on my face. Like there was always a pimple somewhere, usually a lot of them. And I feel like I was just like, why do I have like, this is just me. Like,
Yeah.
And it wasn't until probably like late 20s, early 30s that I was realizing I wasn't even using the right products or like I was having acne because I was using products I shouldn't have been using. And it's just so wild. I feel like this doesn't make me sound so old, but like kids nowadays or like 20 somethings nowadays there's so much more information about skincare out there that they have access to. Like they have really great skin, but I wish my like 20-year-old self cared a little bit more.
Same. I'm so embarrassed to admit that from the time I was probably 15 till the time I was honestly late 20s, probably after Bryn, that I was using the same face wash and the same moisturizer every single day. And I'm not even going to say the name brand because it is so mortifying, but that's just all I know. I was like, wash my face, moisturize, wash my face, moisturize. But I would sleep in my makeup at night. I wasn't wearing like face makeup. I was very much like always wearing eye makeup though. And I would sleep in it like it was no big deal.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing is like wash your face.
It is.
Like that became like a non-negotiable for me when I was in college. And was like, we've got to like keep my face clean. Like if anything, this is like, we've got to start over.
Yeah.
And so even to this day, I mean, even if I'm like asleep on the couch and then I wake up, I'm like, gotta go wash my face. Even if it's like the middle of the night. It's
seriously.
Like, wash my face.
You couldn't catch me dead unless it was an accident, like falling asleep like that. I don't care how tired I am. It is a non-negotiable to wash my face.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
put my skincare on.
I also feel like that's why we always check bags, because I'm like, I have to bring my like 8-step skincare process with me.
Exactly.
Like I will pay to check the bag to have snatched skin. Like it just is what it is.
Part of my breakdown of us losing our bags that time or them coming later, I was like, my skincare is all in there.
I know. It's so true. And there are so many amazing products out there. So sometimes I feel like it's hard to know what is going to be good for somebody's skin. And there's like a few influencers I follow who I feel like have great skin, but they're always trying new products. And I would always be like, okay, wow, like, is that going to work for me? Or like, how do you know? And like skincare can be expensive.
Yeah. So
I don't know. That's why I think talking with somebody who's a professional and can help guide you.
Yes. Because it was almost like oversaturated. There were too many options because right now what we do is we input like all this social media and you're seeing these people with gorgeous skin and you're like, okay, well, they're trying this now. Okay, well, then they're trying this and then they're trying this. And that's not, number one, sustainable. Number two, it's not all made for one. It's not, that's not how it works.
For sure.
So seeing a professional has been the biggest game changer.
And I just think back too on my like personal skincare journey. For a little bit of time, I was like a beauty counter consultant. I actually still am a beauty counter consultant, and like I use 2 of their products within my regimen, like religiously, that Kaylin was like, these 2 are actually great options for your skin. But before that, I was just trying the products and like, this is what's currently working for me. Like I was kind of felt like a test dummy. Like I'll try this out. But I never I feel like I would add in, like I used Elemis, some of their like moisturizer for a little while, probably like a year. And I really liked it while I was using it. And then I kind of switched over to Zoe, which is what we use right now from Kaylin. And I'm just seeing like such different results. So I also kind of say this to say, like, if you're following an influencer who's maybe like tried this and you actually really trust them, like they are probably just trying what they think is working best for them, but then maybe something else is going to work best for them, or it might not work for you because your skin type is so different. So I feel like you have to be very careful with like beauty advice.
I feel like I can use this as an example, and I mean, not to like LMS is what we're talking about. So it's just the best example
Right.
for my skin. I was like, gosh, your skin's gorgeous. I'm going to try it too. And so one of the things that I ended up doing was I did the overnight, which is a little bit thicker, but I have naturally large pores as it is. So what I did not know it was doing, because it is so moisturizing, there's so many, like, I guess, agents in it that it stays on the outside of your skin, that my pores were overacting. They were overworking to try to produce more oil because they thought my skin thought that's what it needed.
Yeah.
So it was keeping my pores large.
Right.
And I was like, wow, I thought it was just like, that's the pores I was given, like I had
Right.
no choice. And it is amazing when I stopped over moisturizing for my skin type that my pore size shrunk drastically.
Yeah. Well, and that's like a great example of like, you came to work with me and then you started like seeing like all the stuff I was using. And I was like, well, this is what it's doing for my
Right.
skin. This is what I'm telling people. And then you'd be like, okay, let me try it too. And then it wasn't doing that for you because we have different skin.
Yeah.
So it's not always going to be a one size fits all, especially in skincare.
Yes.
For me, I have pretty oily skin. Like I feel like all year round, it is just a little bit more oily than not. And one thing I feel like I was doing was always just like stripping the oils. Like I would be like, dry my face out. Like the oil is not for me, but really it is. Like there's ways to I feel like I've learned so much as to like what is actually working for my skin.
Right.
So kind of getting into like some of the products that we use. We both use Zoe Skin Health. Yeah. And I will say they are an investment.
They are.
Like the products are not cheap, but I have seen the biggest difference. Like if it's something you're wanting to invest in and change the way your skin looks, I would definitely consider meeting with somebody who's like at a doctor's office, or go to Kaylin and she can walk you through these products. I feel like we both have like a 6 to 8 step
Yes.
day and night.
Yes.
And it's like, that works for me.
It works for me too. I was a Rodan and Fields consultant before I started working for you. And that was where I started like really understanding the steps
Yeah.
in skincare. And I felt like it was just like kind of tapping the surface. It wasn't necessarily like this, the same for me. They were like, here's the regimen, use the
Right.
whole system. But whenever going to see her, I was like, I have an idea of like what I'm supposed to do, but I don't know if it's the right product. So I ended up doing the same thing. I brought in my skincare
Yeah.
and she was like kind of going through it, and she was like, tell me, she wanted to know what I wanted to change about my skin. That was the first thing. And I was like, oh, because normally people just tell you what to do.
Right.
Do this.
Or they're just like, looks at your skin. Okay, let's do this.
Exactly. But she was like, I want you to feel the best in your skin based on what you want. And so I was like, I have huge pores, and obviously I'm aging. Like I'm going to have wrinkles. So anything to like slow down the process, that would be ideal for me. And one of the things, makeup had a lot to play with it too, because I was trying to like mattify everything and everything was falling into my wrinkles. So it made it even more, obvious. But when she started like telling me what I needed, she was like, you don't need all of this. Like you actually can minimize what you're using. Because I was using vitamin C, and then I was using hyaluronic acid, and then I was using a moisturizer, and then I was using all of this. And she's like, no, actually there's products that actually are simplified and you can use fewer ones. I was just so blown away by the process.
All right, so let's talk about like some non-negotiables from our skincare. Again, like I said, we've got it all listed out on the blog, so you can go get like a step-by-step. But for me, I think like washing my face, I use the like gentle cleanser, and then I use the exfoliator in the morning, and then the toner pads, which I feel like really made a big difference. That was something I was not doing, was using a toner pad before.
Yeah.
So that kind of just like really sets you up to have like a clean surface on your face.
You double cleanse too. So you use a wipe.
So this is what I do in the morning, but at night I do
Okay. Sorry.
double cleanse.
Sorry.
And so then I do a toner pad, and then there's like a kind of like, it's like a pore refiner, kind of like,
Yes.
and she kind of said, this is what is going to like set your skin up to like take in all the goodness that you're about to put on it. And then I do an eye cream, which I still use the Beauty Counter eye cream that's from their like anti-aging line. It's the one that comes in the pink bottle. This stuff is like unbelievable. She went through and like looked at all the ingredients, and she was like, okay, like I'm cool with you using it. I like it because it's clean. I don't use all 100% like clean products in my life, but I try to use cleaner products where I can. So this makes me feel good that at least like a few of them are like good, clean products for me personally. So I love that eye cream. It's like, and I feel like I actually have really good under eye.
You do.
I do some facials with the same like girl, and she always compliments like, your under eyes look so good. Like whatever you're using, continue doing. I mean, and she's like under the light, like really inspecting my skin. So that always makes me feel good that it's like a good choice of eye cream.
Yeah.
And then I do the Daily Power Defense, and then a vitamin C, which I still use the Beauty Counter vitamin C. I've really enjoyed that one. And then a sunscreen.
Yeah.
And that is like my morning setup. I feel like the sunscreen, I could just like, it's got like a little bit of a, like a primer on, or not a primer, but
it can kind of act as a primer because it's a mineral based SPF. So it lays and it almost like flattens out the surface as you go to put makeup on.
Remember that one time we were with Kaylin and she was telling us the difference between like sunscreens that are like mineral based or chemical based?
Yeah.
Which I did not realize the difference. Like I was just like, oh, Elemis has our, has sunscreen in it. And she was like, yes, it does. However, it's not a mineral based sunscreen. So it's actually like not the same as if you were like, the chemical version is not the same as the mineral version.
Yeah.
Which, and of course she gave us like much more details and stuff, but I feel like I went back home and was like, what are all the sunscreens I'm using that like aren't like actually working for my skin?
Agree.
And then at night I use a makeup wipe and then do a cleansing after that. And then another, toner pad. So it's kind of like the double cleanse for me is just like, I feel like what has worked best.
Yeah.
And then we just recently added a little bit of retinol into my nighttime routine. I've tried it a few times and then I've just been like, let's pull back. Cause I mean, you kind of like when you start a retinol, like
you shed.
Your skin is going to get funky. And
you're trying to shed all of that skin and then it's bringing new skin to the surface. So there's going to be some peeling that does take place, dryness, but it's a process that you have to get through. And I know that's hard for you to just get through that process.
And mostly just because of like what my job is.
Right,
and
exactly.
being like on camera and, having like peely skin for a long period of time. But we've kind of worked out something like that I think is going to work to slowly do it, and it is what it is. We'll be fine. And then I love the growth factor serum that I use at night, which just feels like this like blanket of like moisture, but it's like kind of like a gel. That's like a thick gel that goes on your skin at night, and it feels so insane. And it just like helps with like cell regrowth like while you're sleeping.
I don't use that.
It's so great. But it wasn't something that she started me on. It was something when I went in for like a check just to like get an idea. She was like, I think we're at a point where we can put you on this now. And so I was like, okay, like, great. So that's just what I love about having somebody in my back pocket who's helping me with my skin. I mean, I could try to make these decisions or go, be like, well, I saw this on Instagram. Like, maybe I can try it. But like, what step do you put this in your skincare process?
Exactly.
There
is a science to it. And I think that's another thing that I learned with some of these these steps is, for example, putting on hyaluronic acid first, like serum first, and then putting a moisturizer on, because hyaluronic acid actually helps trap in moisture. And so you need that on your skin first in order to, absorb all the benefits of the moisturizer that you're putting on place. And there's so many steps that are necessary for you to get the ultimate results.
Right. So I guess like if you're not going to go see somebody, just do some research on what order you should do these things. And there's like obviously there's so much information out there. There's a nurse practitioner that I follow, and she actually owns the skincare company called Barefaced. I don't know if you know who she is, but she puts so much good information just about skincare overall. Obviously, like her products are the Barefaced products, which I haven't personally tried, but I've been like, if I was going to switch, like I would go try that. And a lot of information on their website is very factual and gives like a great guide in like the steps and the processes and things like that. But she just has a ton of awesome information about skin health overall. So I've really enjoyed following her. We'll leave her Instagram handle in the show notes as well. But I would just encourage you to do your research and figure out like what is going to work best for your skin.
For sure.
What about you? Is there any like product that you're like, this is the like, you have to use it every night or every day, no matter what?
I think that one of the biggest was the toner pads. They are helping reduce the size of your pores. And then retinol at night. So right now I'm actually not using retinol because it's summer and, you're in the sun a lot more in the summer and you can tend to get burned very, very easily. So I actually weaned myself off knowing that we were going to be in the sun for vacation and everything. And what's so funny is I can tell a huge difference. I feel like it's just not, I'm not getting
just
that.
Like you got like a little more texture than you're
a
like
little
wanting.
bit. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I can tell that I'm not using it, but I'm going to build back up after we do our vacation and everything. You're welcome, Caitlin. I know you'd be so happy to hear that. But those two things are a must have for me. I will say, like I said, the game changer for me was the toner pads. But then knowing now what I know about washing your face, double washing is so imperative.
Yes.
Because think of all the times like I double wash, and especially more at night because you're just trying to get all of the day off. You're trying to get the makeup off and everything. So I use a La Roche-Posay. I don't know if that's how you say it, but it's a gentle cleanser. And it is the best cleanser over the counter that will get makeup off completely. I use that first. And then I use my Zoe Skin Health Gentle Cleanser to do a second cleanse. But think of all the times that you've done 2 cleanses and then you use those toner pads and you see like some residue still left.
Right.
So imagine like we were just still washing our face once.
Right.
Yeah. So one thing that I would tell my 20-year-old self is to start using an eye cream before you start seeing wrinkles. Having some type of moisturizer under there and then lots of water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So still working on that one.
Lots of water.
Yeah. 45 Grit's helping with that right now. So I'm somewhat of the same regimen as you, minus the vitamin C. She actually took me off of that because for me, the Beauty Counter vitamin C was too oily for my skin. And so things were just moving around a lot during the day. So we omitted that. She was like, unless your skin starts to get dull, you don't need vitamin C. It's not a necessity. A lot of people tell you that it is, but it's not, just depending on your skin type. And then at night, I also add Rosatrol, which I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
So it's to like get rid of redness.
Yes.
Because I tend to get really patchy right here under my eyes and then right here on my forehead with redness. And it has gotten so much better since I've been taking care of my skin, but I continue to use it just so I don't have that blotchiness. And then, retinol, I use, I think it's 0.5 for retinol. And I use all Zoe Skin Health now at this point. It's been a game changer. There's so much to be said about my pores. The pores around my nose were insane beforehand because they were just trying to overproduce oil. And now I'm not putting so much on there for them to be as active.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always thought I had to go to sleep at like a glazed donut. Like that's what a lot of people say. And I'm like, I was doing that, but my skin is still, yeah, it's because that didn't work for me.
Right. Right. So I think it's just, we're in this phase of life where it's like, what does work for me? Like, let's do that. Do more of what is like working to help make you a better person.
Yes.
Make your skin better. It's just where we are.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's move into like some services that we do and then injections. Let's talk about Botox and Dysport.
Yes.
I have been getting Dysport injections, which is like kind of like the little sister of Botox, for 6 years or so. I started in my late 20s. Probably should have started a little earlier because I feel like I had some like deep
for me.
lines, just like genetics. But I just wanted to like have smoothed out skin. I mean, I feel like people have opinions on like obviously injecting toxins into your skin.
Yeah.
There are alternatives if that's not something that you're interested in.
Yeah, there's lots of topicals out there.
Yeah. And even like those frowny patches. Obviously, you're not supposed to get any type of injectable while you're pregnant. Right. So when I was pregnant earlier this year, I brought the frownies. I was like, I'm going to give these a try. Like maybe this will help keep my, skin tight while I'm pregnant. I know they work for some people. So, I didn't continue using those after I had the miscarriage. I was like, Kaylin.
Yes.
But I mostly just do like in my 11s, in my forehead, a little bit at my eyes. That's pretty much it. I feel like she keeps them like all above my eyes for the most part.
Yeah.
I recently, I guess it was not last year, but the year before. No, or was it last? No, it was 2 years ago. A year and a half ago is when I got a filler in my lips.
Oh, yeah. I think it was winter last year.
2 years ago, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. Because like last year was just like
time flies, guys. When you're having
6 months ago.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's so crazy. And that I feel like was a game changer for me.
Yeah.
Like I had a very thin lips. I just wanted like a little bit.
Yeah. You wanted like your Cupid's bow to like come up a little bit and have a little bit of on the side. And what's so funny is like I didn't notice that beforehand, but I see it on you now. And when we look back at pictures, I'm like, it's so subtle, but it makes such a huge difference of the appearance. Yeah.
So that is something that I guess do it like yearly.
Yeah.
And one thing I love about Kaylin is she's not gonna just like be like, oh, here's a full syringe. Like she gives you like what you need. She always like says like when you sit down with her at the very beginning, you sit down and she said, tell me everything you love about your face. And you like, what are your favorite features about your face? And so then you're like, oh, well, I like my eyes. Like I like, my face shape or whatever it is that you like. But she's just going to like enhance what like your natural beauty.
Yes.
Like I feel like she's not like nobody who goes to her looks like they've got like too much filler or Botox or anything. Like,
she tries to keep it
natural.
Yes. She's like, I want you to walk out of here and still look like you've not had any work done.
Yeah. It's all very subtle, which I really appreciate. Something else that we've tried recently has been Sculptra, which is a like filler and it helps promote collagen growth. Yeah. So I've had a little bit of that in my forehead and then like down kind of at my jawbone to just, there's like, I had kind of like my temples kind of like were hollow looking. And so she was just kind of creating some more collagen there. And she showed me the difference the other day when I was in there of like from before I had any treatments to now. And she was like, look at the difference in like your temple and just how it's just a little bit fuller. And it's actually like really mind blowing what like different fillers can do to your face. I mean, you can literally change like your entire shape of your face.
Yes.
And obviously like, we're not here to like promote you to go like change up, but like, I do think there's something about feeling confident and
100%
feeling like your best self. And doing what is going to make you feel good and like not feeling bad about it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Agree.
I don't know. I've just been very appreciative of her knowledge and still just like enhancing just the beauty, you know?
Yes. Agree.
What about you? You do Dysport too.
I do. So Botox, sometimes people like burn it off a lot faster than others. And I think you and I are like that, where it just burns off very fast on us. So Dysport is like the one that does really well with I don't even know what metabolism is what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So I get Dysport in my 11s on my forehead, and I get a pretty decent amount on the sides of my forehead because I started out with, I always call them bulldog like wrinkles. They're hereditary. Like my dad has them, my grandparents had them, and I had them from literally a teenager. And I was, I guess, very expressive with my eyebrows. So there were so many deep lines when I started in 2019 or 18 and noticed such a huge difference. But then I started getting them around my eyes as well, just to prevent that from getting any worse, because my under eyes, I would say, was the one thing that I struggled with the most, aside from my pores. So I guess eye sockets come down a lot deeper than some people's, and so it just shows a lot more. There's a lot more like frail skin, you know, that's there. And then just recently, in the last 2 times I've gone, she started putting some around my jawline right here. And it was mostly because I was talking about my shape of my face. I was like, I just feel like a Cabbage Patch Kid all the time. It's just very round. And I was like, is there any way to do something with my jaw? Because I'm getting jowls as I get older. And she's like, I'm not putting anything in your jaw, because at the end of the day, it'll turn out to be a square, and you do not want a square face. That'll be very masculine. And I was like, thank you. I don't want that either. But she goes, what I can do is add a little filler to your chin, because my chin was kind of just like going into my neck. And she goes, it'll just create a little bit more definition and bring your face together. And it's so crazy how a little bit of that just changed.
I mean, looking at your face now, I'm like, I see like oval.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Yeah.
And I can tell a difference, like when we were taking pictures and stuff. Like, I have a chin now.
Yeah.
And then a while back, she put a little bit of what she just called like a highlight. Like, it just will catch the light a little bit. And it's such a small amount. Like, you probably wouldn't never be able to tell from a picture, but we looked really, really close. And it's like, it just gives a little bit of snatch, you know, so.
Bring it up.
Yeah. So filler is very new for me here in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
But I've really enjoyed it. I never thought that I would like need it or have to do it. Cause like to me, I was like, I have full lips. Like I don't have to worry about any of that. But this just a little bit of detail has changed. I just changed my confidence for sure.
Absolutely. And I think that's what it is at the end of the day. Like just feeling good about the skin that you're in, you know, and like looking your best. It's like the same thing I always say about if you're dressed in an outfit that you like and you feel confident in, that's going to like boost your mood. And you're going to like feel like you can like go into the day and like attack it. If you feel like your face and your skin is like looking great, that's going to just give you this added layer of confidence and just make you feel like your best self. So
Exactly.
it's kind of what we've been working on here. What about any like facial treatments or lasers that you love?
I have not had lasers done yet. I know that's the next thing that Kaylin was mentioning that we try.
Yeah.
Maybe even microneedling, but I've done hydrofacials and I dermaplane myself. But if I go get a service done, it's been a while, but I would get dermaplaned whenever I went to get a hydrofacial. That's really the only facials that I've really done.
Facials?
I've had glycolic peels.
Oh.
I had a series of those.
I feel like I haven't done as much like facial treatments. I mean, I do facials like the hydrofacial. Misa at Avalon, Woodhouse Avalon is like unbelievable. She's amazing. If you go there, request Misa. But I've seen so many like cool like treatments that you can do with like the BBL or like pulling like the blood from your skin and like then like putting it back in. Like there's so many insane, like cool things
Yeah.
that you can try. I just feel like I haven't really gotten out of like the peels and
Yeah. The peel was very overwhelming for me. And I think that's why I've not done it again. My face probably could use it. It could definitely use it, but it was so overwhelming because you had to go every X amount of weeks. I think it was 6 weeks for like 4 times. And it just progressively got worse. And it was the peeling that lasted so long. I mean, it's like snakes shedding its skin. And I want to go to work and not look like that. So it was very hard for me to do it again. But glowing skin afterwards.
yeah, I know. I feel like that's the one thing. There's like, it takes a lot to get your skin like no pores showing, but it's like you have to work for that. It's not just going to come with no days of like no makeup or peeling or whatever.
Right.
Like there's like, it feels like, you know, the final product, like there was a lot of hard work that got to like having the snatch skin.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. Tell me, like, is there any other products like you recommend or anything else that you're currently doing that you feel like this is like an absolute for good skin?
I think sticking with your daily routine is a non-negotiable. Have a system in place, go see a professional, making sure that you have the right products. But on top of all of that, I did try something new here recently and I am loving it. I need to see long-term results, but red light therapy is supposed to be really good for fine lines and wrinkles.
Yeah.
And so I got it because a lot of dermatologists are saying that it helps with snatching your jaw.
Okay.
It's going to help some of that, the fluids, like the buildup and all of that, try to release. So is gua sha, like if you go through and you actually do the massaging of the face, that's supposed to help a ton as well. So I would love to report back on the red light therapy, but when I was using it consistently for even, I think it was 2 weeks, I started to see a difference.
Okay, so something else I want to try. When we were just in Palm Beach and we did the ice bucket, like dipped our face into the ice bucket of cold water, Hillary told us all about this. And it has like, she said like her face, she's been doing this for the last year. She does not wear makeup.
I know.
Like her skin looked unbelievable. But what she does in the morning when she wakes up is she fills like a bucket or just like a big bowl with ice and like cold water and sticks her face in for 5 seconds, comes out, and then one more time for 5 seconds and does that every single morning and then like does her skincare routine.
I think it's a lot to be said because people are doing like cold plunging right now, and it's just supposed to be so many benefits for your skin and your body and your health. I can see it. She listed off so many benefits. Right. Like girl knew what she was talking about.
I know. I think she's somebody we need to actually have on the podcast because I feel like she has so many good like life tips on just like how to live your best life. Her Instagram, if you want to go start following her right now, Tello and Rose. We'll put that in the show notes too, but her name's Hillary. And I feel like I was just like, keep talking, like, tell me more. Like, what are you doing? You ordered lemon water? Okay. What's happening? Right. Like, you know, like there was just so much great information. So I think just like, I feel like I'm in this phase right now of just really wanting to like learn how to live my best, like next life, you know, like if I'm going to start living
your 2.0 self.
Yeah. As Jin Bowie would say, you know, I mean, I just think it's like, there's so much information out there now. Like, and because we have access to it through social media, like it's obtainable. Right. One product that I love that I feel like has really helped is a silk or satin pillowcase.
Game changer. Insert ad.
Yeah, seriously. Like if you
so good.
Like this will make an immediate difference.
Hair, face, all of that.
I've noticed like a huge difference in my hair, not having to like wash it as often because it's not getting oil from like cotton
breakage.
Yes. It's funny because Collins uses a like cotton pillowcase and her hair in the morning is just so like,
is it matted up?
Kind of matted, kind of just like really frizzy.
Yeah.
And I literally this morning was like, I think I'm going to get her a silk pillowcase.
Both of my girls have them.
And like, just see, like, let's just test.
Yes.
You know, I mean, she has like such like pure fine hair. I mean, she doesn't ever put heat on it. You know, she's 4.
Yeah.
But I want to just kind of do an experiment. But even like for skin, like it's like, just makes a huge difference because your skincare isn't like soaking into like a cotton pillowcase and coming off. It's just building this barrier.
Yeah. Agree.
So highly recommend. We'll put a link for one that we love and use all the time. They're very affordable and a great option if you want to just try it out if you haven't tried one before. So
I think that one thing that most skincare professionals would say is a huge thing is intake of water.
yeah.
You have got to have a good intake of water in order to maintain good skin health. So
Water is so good for you in so many areas. I mean, I shouldn't be the one having this conversation.
I'm just saying what the professionals say. I didn't say that I did it.
Do as I say, not as I do.
I heard Kaylin tell me this.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it. Anyway, well, I feel like this was a great episode. Hope you guys learned something new. We'll leave tons of information in the show notes. So if you want to go talk with Kaylin or look at any of the resources that we mentioned, it's a great place to start if you're wanting to revamp your skincare or your face and just kind of, work towards living your best healthy self.